we've all felt it. There's this pressure that's building and has been building for some time, at least since the beginning of 2026. And it's this pressure to perform, this pressure to produce, this pressure to make a new software, ship a new software. This pressure is prevalent. And I don't think it's just me. I don't think I'm making it up in my head. I think that other people feel this way as well. So, like I usually do, I asked my Hermes about it, and he's been on a roll. And keep in mind, little housekeeping item, I call my Hermes agent Hermes. And I have been using Hermes for the last couple of months to help me organize my life. I love the idea of AI. I hate the idea of data centers. Okay. And I am wandering through this environment of AI, trying to do the right thing, find the next step, and do the right thing that aligns with me and my values appropriately. And it's very difficult to navigate this world of AI. I mean, most guys are just out here. I don't know how else to say it. I'm going to be really crude, but fucking without a condom. Okay. Most guys are out here just willy nilly, whatever tool will give them the result that they want. They don't care if it hurts the environment. They don't care if it is giving information to a group of evildoers, or however you want to say it. And again, I don't know these people. I have certain ideas about people that own certain companies and how they are, but I really don't know. I don't know if they're good or not. What I do know is that when power is highly centralized, it is extremely dangerous and it scares the shit out of me. That's what I do know. Okay, call me a conspiracy theorist, call me paranoid, whatever you want to call me. Okay, but that's how I feel about it. And everybody's out here just willy-nilly having all this unprotected sex with all these agents and vendors and doing whatever it takes to get shit done. And although I appreciate the go-getter energy, I also see the risks, I guess, right? Like, okay, it feels good in the moment to get all this stuff done, but is this really a good long-term solution? Is it a good long-term solution for me? Is it a good long-term solution for my company? Because as you build out your processes for your business, if you get too vendor centric, if you only build or you're highly reliant on another vendor or another company, that's a risk. Okay. It's a known risk in business. And I see a lot of companies doing this, building their entire company on someone else's platform. And I just don't want to do that. I understand that there are tools and services that can accomplish some of the things that I'm trying to accomplish, but I just don't like those companies. Okay. And I'm going a different way. And I think that people may look at that and not empathize or not understand why I'm going a certain way. And it really just has to do with my personal moral compass, and hopefully you can understand, and some of the barriers that I put up on myself and some of the restrictions and constraints I put on myself are probably not real. And I may be worried about something that is non-existent, or I'm overreacting. But regardless, I need to learn more about it. And as I learn more about it, my goal is to come on here and just share it with you, because I want to find other people that are like me in this way, and so that I'm not just out here shouting into the abyss. I'm hoping to find other people like me that have similar goals and values and so on. So I'm going to refocus here and talk about this pressure to perform. Okay. And I think I feel this pressure when I click on certain videos with certain creators. It's this high paced, high energy, get it done now, And again, I appreciate the go-getter mentality, but at the same time, I am a contrarian. So when I see most people acting in this frantic way, I tend to put both hands and feet out in front of me and ask everybody to slow down because I need to understand what the hell is going on. And that's just my personality. I tend to go against the grain. I tend to pick the underdog. I don't know. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. Call me a glutton for punishment. But here I wanted to share some information with you in hopes of empathizing with you and you empathizing with me on some of these issues. Okay. And I do know that we're in an unprecedented time and history is in the making, and I don't want to miss it. So here I am with you, just getting my popcorn out and watching all this madness and participating in some of the madness along the way. So the pressure to perform in an AI world, agents get off course, apps still take weeks to build. Code looks clean, but carries 1.7 times more bugs, and everyone feels the pressure. Here's the data on what is exactly going on. What the hell is going on? Okay, 66% of agent tasks are successful, 89% never reach production still, and 1.7 times more code issues than before. So agents jumped from 12% to 66% success, which is awesome. We all know LLM models have been getting better. Local models have been extremely exciting. We have GLM 5.2 and we have new Ollama models that are kicking ass. And all of these things have added to our accuracy, or the agent's accuracy, and the output has improved. But 89% of agentic projects still never reach production. Okay. So Stanford 2026 AI Index shows agents made massive leaps in the last year, but the same research reveals a brutal deployment gap. So in 2025, agent success was about 12%. And this tends to, and I believe what this was looking at is multi-agent workflows or multi-steps with agents. So the thing about agents is that 10% of the time, they pump out a product that is jaw dropping. It's better than you ever imagined. They make more progress than you could have in like a year. And it was one prompt. Okay. There's this magical moment where it has the right context, you have the right agent, you've got the right LLM, and you wrote those magical words, that spell, into the prompt, and the output was absolutely incredible. But the thing is that it was only happening about 10% of the time. And then when you iterate and you try to dive in and take care of any coding errors that are now in this project that you've decided you've loved, or this new project, this jaw-dropping new project that you now are passionate about, every iteration there can be some drift with the agents understood you in the last prompt, but now in the future prompts, when you're trying to iterate, it doesn't quite do it, or it gets lazy, or doesn't finish it, or your internet's interrupted, and therefore your API connection was interrupted, and that code, and you didn't know, and that code didn't get fully written out, but the agent moved on anyway as if it was written out, and you don't find the half-written code till later, or there was a compaction or a compression issue that caused some sort of hallucination. So the agent didn't write the code quite right, and so on. So there's all these circumstances that can happen along the way that cause 89% of enterprise AI agents never reaching production. And that means zero return on your investment, ranging from $150,000 to $800,000 per implementation. And this is according to Burl Brief Daily. The benchmark says ready, the deployment says not even close. Okay, so agentic success in 2026, this has improved immensely. This is a huge improvement. 2026 agent success is 66%, and human performance with agents is about 72%. So, because I don't know what Hermes means by human performance at about 72%, I'm going to click on the link here in my presentation and ask and see the exact article. So this is from Stanford. This is from Daily Brief. I'm going to move it so you can see the header and the link. So you can see it is from Daily Brief and it's written by Rajesh Berry. Okay, Raj, I would call him Raj, is probably his nickname, Rajesh Berry. Okay, or Bedai. Okay, agents jump from 12% to 66% task success in 1 year, matching human performance on real computer tasks. But hidden deployment costs and 89% failure rate reveal why most enterprises are not ready. AI agents just prove they can match human performance on real computer tasks. Stanford's 2026 AI Index report showed that agents are achieving 66% success on OS World benchmarks, up from 12% last year, bringing them within 6 percentage points of human performance. But before CTOs rush and deploy, the same research reveals a critical gap. 89% of enterprise AI agents never reach production, meaning zero return on investments that range from $150,000 to $800,000 per implementation. It's about the collision between technical readiness and organizational reality and what that means for 25 billion enterprise agent market, for the 25 billion enterprise agent market in 2026. The benchmark leap from 12% to 66% in 1 year. Stanford's OS World benchmark tests AI agents on actual computer tasks, navigating interfaces, manipulating files, executing multi-step workflows across operating systems in March of 2025. The best models completed these tasks with 12% accuracy, okay, or completed them 12% at the time. Did they complete them or did they not? Okay, if they did, it was marked as 12%, and that happened 12% of the time. By March 2026, that number hit 66.3%. That's an improvement. It's not incremental. That's a fundamental shift in what's technically possible. Okay, Stanford HAI team measured agents on tasks that mirror real enterprise workflows, processing documents, managing databases, coordinating between applications, and 66% success rate meant that these tools can now handle can now handle 2/3 of routine computer work without human intervention. For coding specifically, the gains are even sharper. On SWE Bench Verified, which tests agents on real software engineering tasks from open source projects, model performance jumped 60% to near 100%. Call me a contrarian. I see all of these YouTube creators out here telling you how great AI is and how it's going to solve all your problems. And I do use AI. I'm a supporter of AI, but I'm not a supporter of data centers. Okay. And so I'm a little bit of a square peg in a round hole over here on YouTube. And I am not here to sell you the impossible dream. I am here to try to bring balance as much as I can. Maybe it's my Libra rising, but I want to bring balance to this AI space and some sanity, because every AI video, it seems that I click on, everything's world changing and we can deploy in 5 minutes. And this new tool is going to solve all of your agentic workflow problems. And this other tool is going to solve all your problems. Or it's somebody showing off everything that they've been able to do in AI and trying to shove all of their knowledge down your throat in 5 minutes. And it's all very frantic. Okay. And I don't want to poo poo on anyone who's out here dreaming of what's possible. I love that side of AI as well. I love when AI blows my mind. It's happened to me before. You've watched me go through it on my channel, and I've talked about this quite a bit. How AI just blows the lid off of what we all dreamed was possible at one point in our lives. And I don't want to discount that, but at the same time, I want to bring in some grounded reality of what's actually going on. Because I think what happens naturally with humans is we compare ourselves to other people. So when you're out here and you're watching all of these other people crushing it and making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars with AI, it brings this feeling as, what's wrong with me? Why is everyone else able to do all of these things with AI and I'm here and I've been working really hard for X number of weeks and I haven't gotten anywhere? Okay. It brings, social media just naturally has us compare with one another. All right. And I just want to challenge you there, because I am out here and I don't see everybody succeeding. Okay. And I'm here to bring forward information to you of people's failures and show you that no, this AI stuff is really hard, and multi-agent workflows are even harder to make successful. Okay. All of this is not easy. And although AI has brought down a lot of barriers, it's made my workflows extremely better, and I can do more this year than I could a year ago, even though I can do much more this year than I could just even 6 or 12 months ago. There's still the reality of comparison, the human comparison, and where we tend to only look at the outliers or the Instagram feeds that only show the people that are on vacation all the time. So then we think everybody's on vacation all the time. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get to go on vacation. I'm stuck in my office all the time working. Like all these comparisons that we do with social media. And this, I see the same thing happening with AI for people. And I just want to bring in some realistic numbers, some realistic benchmarking, see who is successful, who isn't, what are the percentages, and so we can be a little bit kinder to ourselves as we work and grow and learn more about this AI stuff and agentic workflows. So let's get into it. So the deployment gap, why 89% never launch? Here's the number that should concern every CIO planning an AI agent strategy. 89% of enterprise AI agents never reach production deployment, according to one Reach AI research cited in multiple 2026 implementation studies. Most projects stall between pilot and scale. The agents never deploy. Okay, so the failure isn't technical, it's operational and economic. The hidden cost. So development costs $25,000 to $300,000, depending on the complexity and customization. Infrastructure costs $3,200 to $13,000 per month for production deployment. Integration and change management, often overlooked but typically matches or exceeds development costs. The total cost of ownership for a production enterprise AI agent is about $150,000 to $800,000 in 1 year, plus $50,000 to $200,000 annually thereafter. For context, that insurance claim processing example saves $4.4 million annually. It handles 10,000 claims per month and required significant upfront investment in integration, training, and workflow redesign. Okay, the jagged frontier, what agents can do and what they cannot. This matters for deployment and planning. Agents excel at structured, high volume workflows, multi-step tasks with explicit rules, information retrieval and synthesis. They struggle with ambiguous requirements, novel situations, tasks requiring physical world understanding like spatial reasoning, visual perception beyond classification, and high stakes decisions. Okay, they definitely are not ready for high decisions. All right. So for CFOs and COOs evaluating budget allocation, starting with one high volume, rule based workflow and going from there. So Gartner's prediction, over 40% of agentic AI projects will be canceled by the end of 2027 due to escalating costs, unclear business value, or inadequate risk control. Okay. And this is based on a poll. Gartner based this on a poll of 3,400 organizations. All right. And despite the initial challenges, the trends toward agentic AI represents a leap forward in AI capabilities and market opportunity. Agentic AI will provide new means to enhance resource efficiency, automate complex tasks, and introduce new business innovations beyond the capabilities of scripted automation bots and virtual assistants. But Gartner predicts at least 15% of day-to-day work decisions will be made autonomously through agentic AI by 2028, up from 0% in 2024. In addition, 33% of enterprise software applications will include agentic AI by 2028, up from less than 1% in 2024. So this is from Gartner.com, and it says most agentic AI projects right now are early stage experiments or proof of concept that are mostly driven by hype and often misapplied. Anushree Verma says he's the senior director analyst at Gartner. This can blind organizations to the real costs and complexity of deployment and deploying agents at scale, stalling projects from moving into production. They need to cut through the hype to make careful strategic decisions about where and how they apply this emerging technology. All right. 85% per step. That sounds great. Okay, so when we see these higher percentages, we see 66% success rate, we see 85% or 90% that the agents, these benchmarks are hitting 94% grades. They're getting A's, they're getting B's, they're getting B pluses, A minuses. So 85% per step sounds great, but at 10 steps, you fail 80% of the time. This is the math that kills multi-step agentic workflows. So each step is reliable, the chain is not. So step one, if you have a one-step process, you get it 85% of the time. If it's a three-step process, you get it 61% of the time. If you have a five-step process, it's 44%. 10 steps is 20%, and 20 steps is 3.4 or 3.9%. Why does this matter? The agent that is 85% reliable per step succeeds end to end only about 20% of the time across 10 steps. Your 10-step workflow agent fails 4 out of 5 attempts. At 20 steps, it is effectively 0. AI code looks clean, but it carries 1.7 times more issues. The blob of clay. Told you, if you have a blob of clay, don't despair. Just keep writing. Just keep working on it. If you don't know what the solution is, you just keep molding and keep working on it and stay solution minded. Agents build what they think you want. Cut corners and miss sections. The code looks right. It is not right. Issue per AI 10.83, issue per human 6.45, 1.75 times more logic errors. So what the data says, CodeRabbit analyzed 470 real-world GitHub PRs. AI code produces 1.7 times more total issues than human written code. Maintainability and quality errors run 1.64 times higher. Logic errors run 1.75 times more frequently. The silent debt. AI coding tools generate code that looks clean but often ignores the specific architecture of your project. Teams see speed gains first, then they spend months fixing contradictory patterns and mounting technical debt. AI introduced issues exceeding 100,000 by February 2026. How long it actually takes. App deployment timelines by team size, even with AI. AI makes it faster. It does not make it instant. Here is how long apps actually take to build in 2026. One person, which is solopreneur plus one AI agent, MVP/prototypes, takes 2 to 10 weeks. A 10-person agency mid-scope production app takes 14 to 22 weeks. 10-person agency, a complex AI first app, takes 18 to 30 weeks. A 100-person enterprise AI platform takes 6 months to 2 years. Productivity multiplier. AI-assisted developers complete coding tasks 55% faster. Industry average throughput goes from 8 points per engineer per week to 12 points with AI. Faster, but not free. Coding agent sessions went from 4 minutes to 23 minutes in 1 year. Anthropic's 2026 Agentic Coding Trends report shows agents are taking on substantially more complex work. The trajectory is steep. The first quarter of 2026, the average session was 4 minutes. In the first quarter of 2026, the average session was 23 minutes. A multi-flight editing rate is 34 to 78%. Development work uses in AI is 60%, and 45 plus minute is the 99th percentile turn from Anthropic. So the shift in 2026, the core work of software engineering shifts from writing code to coordinating AI agents that write code. Engineers focus on architecture, system design, agent coordination, strategic direction, and quality review. Agents now work for days at a time, building entire applications with minimal human intervention. I'm interested to see what this percentile is referring to. So measuring AI agent autonomy in practice. This is from Anthropic. AI agents are here and already they're being deployed across contexts that vary widely. Claude Code is working autonomously for longer. Among the longest running sessions, the length of time Claude Code works before stopping has nearly doubled in 3 months, from under 25 minutes to over 45 minutes. This increase is smooth across model releases, which suggests it isn't purely a result of increased capabilities and that existing models are capable of more autonomy than they exercise in practice. So this increase is smooth across all model releases, which suggests it isn't purely a result of increasing capabilities and that existing models are capable of more autonomy than they exercise in practice. Okay, it's like, this is from Anthropic, so it's going to be really biased. So, but it is interesting that the amount of time that the agents are working has increased. Okay, so that's a fact. Speculation as to why from Anthropic, I don't know. I can't take it seriously. Okay, so the human cost. So 67% of workers say AI has increased productivity expectations. Okay, so this is the real pressure I think that a lot of people are feeling right now. The pressure is not imagined, it's measurable, and it's taking a real toll on mental health. So 76% increased expectations. So a employer gives a task to a coder or an employee, and their expectations expectations of your work output, the time in which you should take to complete a task, all of those expectations have increased 67%. Okay. And this has increased stress by 64%. And AI hurting mental health at 24%. 7 in 10 fear of AI layoffs. So 7 in 10 employees are fearful that AI will replace them as workers or replace their job. When employees feel a relentless stream of new tool rollouts, endless AI headlines, rising production expectations, employees feel intense pressure to stay ahead and a fear of falling behind technically if they miss a single development. Anxiety drivers, job displacement, skill. Coding agent sessions went from 4 minutes to 32 minutes in 1 year. Okay, so I believe Anthropic when they say time has increased. Okay, so they have agents working longer on tasks. And obviously, the benchmarks are that these agents have improved in the last year. I'm not ignoring that at all. But what I do want to say is it does behoove Anthropic to make these agentics work longer and because they make more money. All right. So that's definitely the goal is to bring you in and have these agent tasks run longer, have you working with the AI longer, and they will be adjusting agents to meet those objectives. Okay. The human cost, 67% of workers say AI has increased productivity expectations. Okay. Just reading this gives me anxiety. All right. And I feel it too, even though I'm a business owner and I have my clients. I mean, I feel the pressure from my clients. So whoever your boss is, your clients, your employer, I think we're all feeling this expectation to perform and do things faster than we've ever done them before at a drop of a hat. All right. And 72% of leaders say their organizations are not ready. So McKinsey surveyed 10,000 executives. The gap between AI ambition and organizational readiness is enormous. So organizations using AI in 2026 is at 91%. Okay. We had the adoption, talked about this several times throughout 2026 and showed you the numbers on how 2026 was a huge influx of enterprise business adoption in AI, bigger than most people expected. AI pioneers with a clear strategy is at 23%. Seeing meaningful results, about 20%, less than 20% of people are seeing meaningful results, and 72% are fully just not ready. Okay, this key findings is that organizations that redesign end-to-end workflows around agentic AI see the greatest impact on their bottom line. Less than 20% of organizations deploying AI are seeing meaningful results. 91% use AI, but only 23% have a clear strategy. So the autonomy question, 1 in 4 leaders expect AI agents to act as autonomous team members in the short term, but 72% say their organizations are not fully ready to face the changes ahead. Chief AI officer roles now exist in 61% of enterprises. How long to learn? So the 90-day framework for team AI adoption. Teams do not learn AI overnight. And here's what a 90-day adoption framework looks like and what actually drives adoption. So audit and plan. So 1 to 14 days, assess workflows, identify pilot use cases. So what are we going to work on? Which workflow are we going to automate? Single department pilot. So pick at days 15 to 30, pick one department, structure your pilot, and then measure its success. Multi-department expansion. So day 31 to day 60, expand with governance in place to other departments, if applicable. Company-wide rollout, 61 to 90 days, sustainable training program with full deployment. What actually works, a 30-minute live walkthrough where someone uses the tool to complete a real task produces more adoption than an hour of written instructions. Phased rollout with 50 to 100 users in a structured pilot beats big bang deployment every time. So yes, same employee communication strategies will work in training AI as every other training modality and successful program out there. If you hand your employees a booklet with instructions, they likely will not read it or complete the task or the SOP. But if you have live 30-minute walkthroughs with demos showing employees how to use it, record that session, that will work more often. Okay. But doing this one and done is also not realistic. I would like to remind everyone that most employees will not take you seriously until you talk about something at least 7 times. So in an audit and planning phase, as you're trying to get employees on board with a new initiative within your company, even if that initiative is AI, you will always have resistance. You will have your 20% of your employees that are your cheerleaders that will support you no matter what you decide. And you'll have the 20% that hate everything. And you'll have the 60% in between. Okay, that can be swayed either way. Okay, and it's your job to really sell the idea and lead your team into success, even with AI, and expect that you will have to explain the process and the workflow more than you ever had dreamed you would have to. Okay, even though it makes sense to you as the manager, you as the decision maker, it isn't necessarily going to make sense to your team. So explain multiple times, each thing at least 7 times in multiple different types of ways, and reinforcing the same messaging over and over again. All right, as you progress. The pressure is real. Okay, the data proves it. Here is what is actually happening. So number one, benchmarks versus production gap. So 66% of the time with one prompt, the agents are successful. However, 89% of multi-agent workflows never deploy. That was the first fact that we looked at. The second fact is the compound failure kills chains. So even though we have agents that are getting A's and B's on the benchmarking, when you go through 80% success rate multiple times in a chain, at the end of 10 steps, we have a very low success rate. Okay, so we only have 20% success rate after 10 steps. All right. And AI code has 1.7 times more bugs than human written code. So that does cost more on the production side of things. Apps still take weeks. I know people say you can build an app in a day. Yes, you can spin up a demo app in a day or a half functioning app in a day, but fixing that other 50% that's broken is what takes time. The iterations are also not always successful. Okay, each iteration might have 66% success, so that means that 44% of the time you're pulling your hair out trying to get your agent to iterate in a way that you want. Okay, apps still take weeks. All right, so if you're a solopreneur, a solo app takes 2 to 10 weeks, and enterprise can take 6 months to 2 years. Apps still take time. So 67% feel the increased pressure. Employees are feeling more and more pressure, and 64% of employees are stressed about this. 72% of organizations are not ready to implement AI successfully, and only 20% of organizations are seeing any meaningful results. 40% of AI agents have been canceled and will be canceled by the end of 2027. All right. So here's all of my sources. Again, I am working on a website where I will be posting articles and all of my presentations so that if there is a topic or an article that I discuss that you are interested in, you can click through and read these studies. So we have Stanford, we have another Stanford, we have Forbes, we have Gartner, Cloud AI, Developers Digest, Code Rabbit, Business Wire, all right, all great articles, really high-end articles. I worked hard with Edamaze to make sure that he pulls high quality information in the reports that we create together. And hopefully you find that useful. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, share it with a friend, write a comment down below. I would appreciate it. and we will see you next time. All right. Bye bye.